to your overall point. How to get the overall point. And so we have been told that if we look at the introduction, conclusion, and title, we will discover the overall point. So our first step is to look at the introduction. We're looking for the topic and whether the author thinks it's good or bad. That's it. Basically good or bad. And since we have mind over mass media, I'm guessing it's about mass media, which reminds me of the expression mind over matter, which I know to mean self-control. So then I read the first paragraph. I've already got an inclination that she doesn't think mass media is that horrible, but she talks about the past and how people have always been worried about new media because it drains our brain power and our moral fiber. In other words, most people think it's bad because it makes us dumb and criminals. Then she brings it to the present, that this is continuing, and gives us 3 examples. E.g. means example, and that's PowerPoint, search engines, and Twitter. Then she comes back with a but. It fails basic reality checks, crime has declined, and IQ scores rose. So our author thinks mass media is not bad and doesn't subscribe to the notion that it is bad because IQs actually rose and crime decreased. So now we need to go to step 2, which is conclusions. And here we're hoping she'll say why she thinks it is good or bad. And we know she thinks it isn't as bad as people think, but what does she think? She says, knowledge is increasing, the internet helps us manage, search, retrieve, collect our intellectual output, and in fact it's not, and I wrote not in, stupid. It's not making us stupid. In fact, it will keep us smart. So I wrote increase smart in my margin. That's her point. It's going to increase our smarts. Now, remember the last component is title. So we do have to address that. Step 3 is title. So I have to come back to what I had before, which is mind over matter equals self-control. I didn't see that in the conclusion. So I backed up to the previous 2 paragraphs, and sure enough, I found it. She acknowledges it can be distracting, but she says the solution is, there it is, self-control. And that's her point, and it connects. And she says if we want them to have intellectual depth, they must acquire those skills, as they always have, at university. So now I've got my 3. Now that we have our 3 components, let's pull them together to write our overall point. Step 4, overall point. Well, we need to begin with our introduction, plus our introduction was all those notes we made. It's not bad, as people think. And then we add our conclusion, which was that, in fact, it makes us smart. And then we add our title, which is that we can use self-control and learn discipline at university. So 1 sentence to incorporate all of this. It's a big sentence, folks. I start with, while people always have worried about it making us immoral and dumb, it's not bad. She debunks it, and we can learn discipline and self-control so that we can harness the power of new technology to make us smart. So that's a big sentence, but because she spent time debunking what most people think, I have to start with a while. While they think this, she debunks that and goes further to make the point that it would in fact make us smart as long as we use self-control. So I can probably write an even smaller sentence than this, incorporating these ideas. Good.